Family and fellow soldiers, I'm the Professor, and this is the Moment of Truth. It's summertime, so you know what that means. On YouTube, summer is when the YouTube admins begin attacking black media channels heavy. It's when they begin suspending our channels, all of a sudden putting strikes on our channels. An account can go all year long with absolutely no strikes whatsoever. Then out of the blue, soon as summer hits, they begin putting strike after strike on the channel, and then they suspend access to your channel so you can't post anything. They do this every summer like clockwork. Last year, you'll recall they put strikes on my channel and made it where I couldn't post anything, and they did it under the ridiculous lie that my video critiquing Will Smith slapping Chris Rock somehow constituted bullying. They actually said that. They said that my video about Will Smith was bullying him. How does my YouTube video bully one of the biggest movie stars on the planet? How is that even possible? It's not. Yeah, I know Shill Smith has a YouTube channel too, but I seriously doubt that he saw my video. Maybe someone in his circle did, but still, it's not as if that incident was some anomaly. It's not. They attack our channels every single summer, and this year they seem to be going for a gold medal in blatantly false reasons to attack a channel. On your screen, you're seeing the images that YouTube's bot sent me after they put age restrictions on 2 of my 3 videos that I posted this week. As you can see, their reasons have nothing to do with reality. They're claiming things that didn't happen and don't exist. We'll get to that in a moment, but first let me address a question that I get pretty frequently. People often ask, why doesn't my channel have more subs? They look and say because of the content, how it's delivered, the stuff that's being addressed. This channel, it's a no-brainer, should have a lot more subs than it does. I agree. I've been doing this for over 15 years. This channel, however, hasn't been around 15 years, you'll notice. That's because I've had numerous channels that YouTube has attacked for no reason whatsoever. Now that's part of it. YouTube wages a war on black people who speak the truth and try to make sure that they suppress us as much as possible. YouTube promotes and uses their algorithm to give preference to material that they personally like and to suppress content that they don't. And please don't kid yourself that YouTube cares about advertisers. So many people on this platform use ad block, and I encourage you to use it too, and if you don't, I don't know what's wrong with you. YouTube's only marginally interested in advertiser revenue. Like a lot of these tech companies, they see their real job as social engineering. They see themselves as cultural gatekeepers, and they've appointed themselves the arbiters of what is acceptable and what is not. If you're a white supremacist, YouTube will make sure you get views. They'll boost your views through the algorithm, and they won't terminate or even suspend your account. If you're a black person who's talking celebrity, gossip, or other irrelevant tripe, if you're talking about pop culture, i.e. movies, comic books, TV shows, if you're a black person doing that, then they're fine with it. If you're a black person who's cooning and buffooning, that's even better. They'll have the algorithm give a big boost to that channel. But if you're a black person who's waking up the minds of our people and keeping them informed as to what's in our interest and who's working against our interest and making certain that black people are armed with the information and the talking points they need to challenge and defeat white supremacy, then YouTube uses the algorithm to suppress that channel. They make sure it doesn't show up in the recommended panel. I and others, our videos don't get more than 50,000 views regularly, regardless of our subscriber count. And I'm not the only one this has happened to. Obviously, YouTube is shadow banning my account as it does a number of others of new black media. They want to make it where new people won't come across it, but they also interfere with the ability of subscribers to regularly get notifications when a new video is posted. Now for this channel, I and others have fought for this one, and this channel has been around the longest, and in only 4 years you see how far it's gotten. Over 120,000 subscribers and over 700 videos, but as much as they've done to suppress my channel, it's clear that their efforts haven't been enough. After all of YouTube's digital censorship, too many people are still listening and watching, and they just can't take it. They see themselves as masters of reality as they think of themselves. They think they have the power to decide what exists and what doesn't. Why, all they have to do is just push a button and you don't exist. Or in their case, they claim that they didn't terminate your channel, so if you're not getting views, well, that must be you. They think that they shot somebody and gotten rid of the evidence, only they failed. We haven't gone away. We haven't withered on the vine. We're still here. Since the very beginning, I've said that I don't do politically oriented entertainment. That's another reason why the channel doesn't have more subscribers. Black empowerment is not very popular, sadly, even with a lot of black people. Black survival isn't very popular either. When I did the most recent Sunday address talking about self-medication, there's a reason I put special emphasis on entertainment. Black people are the first ones to seek out a comedy show or some other type of diversion. It's reflexive for us. We don't even think about it. We just do it. As a result, refusing to fight anti-black racism has also become a reflex for us. And that brings us to the last 48 hours. My Sunday address about resisting self-medication was hit with an age restriction within an hour of having been posted. The video I posted yesterday about Native Americans in California trying to piggyback off of black people's reparations claim, that was hit with an age restriction automatically. The instant I posted the video, it got an automatic age restriction. Now keep in mind, when you upload these videos, YouTube checks it to see if everything checks out. So the fact that the moment that the video went live, it was immediately hit with an age restriction, what does that tell you? So that's 2 age restrictions in only 48 hours. 2 out of the 3 videos I posted this week have been restricted by YouTube. And what reason did they give for this? For yesterday's video about Native American racism, the reason they gave was that the video had nudity in it. I'm not making that up. That's what they claimed. They claimed the video has nudity. Now, before we go any further, if the video does indeed have nudity, then why did YouTube allow it to remain on their website? Why did they post it in the first place? If it has nudity, then shouldn't they have removed it altogether? But they didn't. This is just like how they claimed in the past that my videos violated hate speech guidelines, but when asked for them to point out the so-called hateful content, they just say, well, it's in the guidelines. It's a classic I'm white and I say so. They also claim that yesterday's video had vulgar and or profane language in it too. Now, if you know me, you know that I don't post nude images of any sort or anything that's even sexy for that matter. And as for language, my commentaries are more sanitized and user-friendly than what you find on white media cable news. I don't use salty language, much less profane language. Now, I contacted YouTube chat support, and of course, I appealed these censorious moves, and of course, I got automated replies sent to me almost the moment that I appealed. And the auto replies, which you see on your screen, claim to have reviewed the videos, and they say that there is indeed nudity in these videos and vulgar language and all the rest of it. Now, these are lies. These are not exaggerations like in the past when they claimed that I was bullying people or posting hate speech. Those were gross exaggerations that were just made up. In this case, they just decided to go full fantasy land. So posting headlines from white mainstream news outlets about Supreme Court rulings is considered nudity on YouTube now, because that's the only imagery that I used. And my quoting with these articles published is vulgar language now. This is what was in my videos, text from white media headlines and copied from their articles. No nudity, no vulgar or profane anything. And in the case of my video about self-medication, YouTube didn't even bother to give a reason or to claim any sort of violation of guidelines. They just age-restricted the video off top. No reason given whatsoever. In that case, they didn't even pretend that there had been a violation. They just put a restriction on it. Now, before I go any further, a lot of you have asked, what can you do? One thing you can do is to check the description on this video. You'll find a tag for YouTube's Twitter page. Let them know you see what they're doing. Call them out on the lies that they're trying to use to justify what is blatant racial censorship. They can't actually defend it. They can't say, here's the nudity, here's the profane language. They can't defend it. When they push, we have to push back. Age restrictions are a way for the racist at YouTube to block a video without outright deleting it. A lot of, if not most people who watch YouTube do so on devices that aren't logged into a YouTube account. Either they're at work or some other type of shared device, or they don't have a YouTube account at all. So with an age restriction, YouTube requires the viewer to log in order to see the video. Well, let's be honest. For a lot of people, that alone, just having to do that one step, will prevent them from watching a video. They want content with absolutely no effort whatsoever. Even having to log into their account is too much effort for a lot of folks. That's not meant to be an insult. It's just a statement of fact. YouTube is restricting my videos based on lies, and that is, of course, the entire point of doing it. This isn't about the rules. This is about racists at the tech companies controlling what people are allowed to see and hear. This is what shadow banning looks like. Now, before anyone asks, yes, I contacted YouTube's chat support, as I've done in the past when my channels have been attacked, and if you've ever dealt with them before, you know exactly what they did. They denied everything, claimed no censorship, and then when asked to explain what in the video violated any guidelines, give me the timestamp for these alleged violations, they simply copy and paste a link to YouTube's community guidelines and says, well, it's in there, you should read this, it's in there. So YouTube's so-called chat support, they do nothing but give scripted responses, which they're told to use deflections to any questions. I press them repeatedly to tell me what about the video violated any guidelines. Give me a timestamp. Say exactly what it was that did it. And they said, well, we can't do that. We have a so-called review team, and, well, they're the ones who make the calls on that. And I said, fine then. Have one of these review team members go ahead and email me and tell me what was wrong with the video. Justify what they did. Of course they couldn't. And by the way, their chat support seems a hell of a lot more like a chat bot. That's what it seemed like I was talking with a computer that was spitting out these pre-canned phrases based on certain words that I was using. So I personally doubt that I ever actually talked to a human being about these attacks on my channel at all. And of course, if you've ever worked for a large company, you know what this stonewalling is actually about. This is how companies make sure that no one actually challenges whatever unethical, if not illegal, moves they make. They have a buffer between themselves and the people they're ripping off or otherwise cheating. And that buffer is only authorized to say, well, there's nothing we can do, and I can't transfer you anyone else. Goodbye. Now again, anyone who's dealt with YouTube knows that the one thing they never do is to actually tell anyone what specifically about their content violates the so-called guidelines. They never do that, no matter how you talk to them, no matter who you email or communicate with. YouTube does this deliberately in order to dodge any liability about their company policies, which clearly are in conflict with their so-called terms of service. They make it a point that nobody will ever actually say what about a video violates the so-called guidelines, because they want to be arbitrary about it. They want to claim that anything they don't like violates guidelines. That's the entire point. As you've seen with my videos, they just flat out made up lies in one case, and in another one didn't even claim anything. They just said violates guidelines. We can't even tell you which one. And yes, a lot of these restrictions are automated, but when they get pressured to justify it, that's when you find out there's a program at work here. And it's not a computer program. It's a white supremacist program. Clearly, the racists at YouTube feel threatened by what we say in places like this. YouTube is based out of California, so I guess that explains why my video about California Indians wanting to piggyback on our reparations claim made YouTube feel so threatened. This is the kind of content and work that only the new voices of black media are doing. This is why my channel is no larger than it is. YouTube engages in a company-wide practice of targeting black media content. You can see this for yourself. And you can prove it for yourself, too, that their guidelines are in fact lies they use, which is why they never actually try to justify them. Obviously, I'm not about to stop what I'm doing. I began this mission 15 years ago with the goal of making these white supremacists run in fear, and that's what I've done. Black media is your voice, but understand, you are part of the black media. You are not merely the foundation of it, you're the edifice on top of it. Individuals like myself, Jason Black, Tariq Nasheed, Your World, Tarian Rain, Lisa Cabrera, Phil Scott, Vicky Dillard, and so many others. We are mouthpieces for the new black media, but you are part of this too, not just as listeners to this message, but also as proponents for it. Black media is your voice, but you will have to fight to make sure that nobody tries to silence you. And before I go any further, you have never heard me lament or bemoan that I don't have more listeners. I'm a keen student of history, and I know for a fact that the masses ain't gonna bust a grape. I don't want to reach the black masses, because the black masses aren't interested in this message. The black masses are interested in Freaknik, Love and Hip Hop, Tyler Perry, the latest stupid TikTok videos of two black folks fighting, or some other hood rat stuff. That's where the black masses' attention is focused. The reality is, and history has made this inarguably true, it's a small, dedicated group who actually changes things. That's who I want to reach. Those are the people who are actually going to get things done. They're the ones who actually matter. The black people who can actually be bothered to get off their behinds, Those are the people I'm trying to reach. And they're damned few, let me tell you. But being few in number doesn't mean being weak. You see how YouTube reacted to the last few videos I've done? We know as black media channels that we're under constant surveillance. We know this. And what they're doing is trying to disrupt our message. But understand something. We are not the targets. You are. They see that not only are a lot of you listening, but worse than that, the right kind of black people are listening. That is truly dangerous to white supremacy. Too many of you have heard this message. You've drawn encouragement from knowing you're not alone. You've been inspired by hearing brothers and sisters like myself telling the truth without apology and without compromise. And you've become bolder because we keep giving you this daily dose of truth. The new voices of black media have given rise to an entire group of informed, motivated black people with high morale. White power cannot have that, so they have to fight an informational war, and that means disrupting their enemies' means of communication, which is what you see them doing. There's two ways to stop a movement: kill its leaders, or find a way to squelch or otherwise disrupt the message so the followers don't get it. History's shown if you can find a way to do that, then the movement loses cohesion, it loses momentum. The followers begin to disperse because the energy necessary to hold them together is gone. Never forget two things. First of all, you are the black media. You are every bit as important as the people behind the microphones. In fact, you're actually more important than we are. Because secondly, it's your eyes and your ears that everyone's fighting over. It's your attention and your focus that everyone's trying to control. That's what this tug-of-war is about. It's about you. As part of the black media, you must support black media, but you must also protect it. It's like I've always told you, a people who do not defend their advocates will have no advocates. Now, of course, when I say that these white supremacist racists at YouTube are trying to disperse us as a group, everyone here will say that that couldn't possibly happen to us, and I believe that. But the enemy doesn't know that. So don't let our numbers fool you. As Jason Black said, I'm not afraid of small numbers, so long as the numbers are powerful and brought enough resources to inflict their will. That's what this is about. Every black person knows our situation. Every black person in America has heard the call. But only a few answered, and fewer still acted. Movements are not the result of the masses. They never are. They are always the handiwork of a dedicated select few. Yes, the quantity of our numbers matters. It would be a lie to say otherwise. But it's the quality of the numbers that matter a hell of a lot more. Because if all you have are 1,000,000 hood rats, dusty dudes, potheads, chickenheads, and deadheads, then you don't have an army. All you've got are a bunch of losers standing around, and they're not going to accomplish squat. So I take what YouTube's doing as just the regular confirmation we receive that they hear us and they fear us. It's an admission on their part that we're making them angry and scared. They hate that places like this are where so much of the resistance they've been getting has been coming from. They hate the fact that we're still here, and by we, I mean you. They hate the fact that you're still here. That critical mass of black people who have been giving them hell for several years, you guys are still active, you have not lost cohesion, you have not dispersed. Their efforts to try to call themselves throwing a rock and hiding their hands by attacking these channels and then claiming, oh, well, we have a justification for it, and even if we don't, it doesn't matter. It hasn't worked. They have failed to dampen your enthusiasm. They have failed to break your resolve. Because of that, these white supremacists at YouTube hate you. Because of that, the new voices of black media like myself, thank you. Good day, and be one. I'd like to take a moment to mention some of our contributors: Sherman Marshall, Samantha Ellis, Liban Gurhan, R. Laz, and John Guillory. Salute to them, and thank you to everyone for listening, liking, and sharing this message. Black empowerment only exists because of you.